So we are live. So welcome to the 12th edition of VENU's Weekly Cricket Catch-Up. I'm joined with Fizan as always. How you doing, mate?
I'm really good. It's been not so much cricket on this week, but it's still been good. We saw the conclusion of the England-India match, which I know we're going to touch upon, and there's a lot of news coming out of that, and also the PSL started. I don't follow it closely, but I heard about the IPL auction as well, which I know some people who are watching would have been interested in. And the PSL is going on as we speak as well. So as you can see at the bottom, Islamabad needing 151 to win. And so there's lots going on. It's good. And the weather's been quite nice here. So I'm happy. Hopefully a return of sport for both of us, VENU, as well. But yeah, it's good anyway. I can't complain.
Oh yeah, it's certainly warmed up this week, hasn't it? A lot, and I feel like summer's on its way. So and that means cricket season here. It's on its way. And I'm sure you're looking forward to the start of the cricket season, Fizan. But we'll see what latest in terms of lockdown easing or whatever that will happen. But I'm sure hopefully by summer, I'm sure we'll be playing some cricket, Fizan. So that'd be good. And yes, so in terms of on Monday was rather the quite a rapid end to the England-India Test match. So the second Test match in Chennai. So Ashwin, Axar Patel, and Rohit Sharma star in a series level win to make it 1-1 with 2 matches left to play for in Ahmedabad, both in Ahmedabad. So Ashwin's 8-wicket haul and a century, Rohit Sharma's excellent knock in the first innings, and a 5-wicket on debut for Axar Patel, and combined to form an excellent India victory of 317 runs in the second Test against England. And England needed an unlikely 482 to win. They weren't going to do it. And this was considered at 164. And India, everyone watching this, and Fizan, they registered the biggest win against England in terms of runs, and also the biggest in a Chennai Test. So that 370-run victory was their biggest in terms of runs against England. And in terms of their biggest wins for India by runs, that is fifth on an all-time list of 317. So, and it's interesting, five of those top 6 have come under Virat Kohli's captaincy. So that's quite interesting. Well, after we've had the debate about whether Virat Kohli should be captain or not, and also Axar Patel joins quite a illustrious list of Indians taking a fiver on Test debut. He joins Amit Mishra, Ravichandran Ashwin, and Hawani and Doshi and Kumar. So he joins a illustrious list on getting fiver on Test debut. And England's loss by 370 runs is their biggest defeat in Asia in terms of runs, and the previous was 246 runs in India in Vizag in the last tour in 2016-17. So, it was quite a convincing win by India.
Yeah, it was. It was basically revenge, wasn't it, for the thrashing in the first Test match, and they thrashed them even worse in the second Test match, India, in return, and just said, "Well, okay, you've beaten us. Yeah, maybe we're taking our eye off the ball." And England put on a very good performance, fantastic double ton by Joe Root, and then India just thought, "Well, here we go. We're going to give you a rank turner, and let's see how you can play it." And unfortunately, England just didn't apply themselves. And as you've touched upon, Ravi Ashwin, fantastic all-round display from him, as per the title. And fantastic 100, 8 wickets in the match. He had a fantastic performance. And after we discussed whether he's potentially the best all-rounder, I think he's definitely in the top 3, that's for sure. And the dude is... he looks like he's in very fine form, and India, I think, obviously will take a lot from that second Test match. It's funny you mentioned the captaincy, and I talked to Jamie Alter, who's part of Cricket Fables, and he's also a sports journalist, and it's on the channel if anyone's interested. It's not really an interview; it's more a discussion debate on the first 2 Test matches and the previewing the next 2. And he was saying that Virat Kohli, it's so hard, you can't wrench the captaincy away from him now that they've given it to him. And obviously he wants it. I think there's argument to say he's done a very good job, which he has done over a number of years. Whether it's time for him to move on now, I don't know. That's probably a debate that can be had. But again, I don't think it would be a case of him stepping down from all formats. I just think it would be a case of maybe he relinquishes captaincy in one format or two formats. But yeah, anyway, from an Indian point of view, just fantastic. I mean, that they're obviously looking at it thinking, when we go into the day-nighter now, they'll have Bumrah to come back as well, and they'll have their tails up. And I think England will have a lot of work to do. They'll be relying a lot on Anderson and Broad, I think, on a day-nighter if they play both. And yeah, let's see how it goes. But it sets up the series nicely.
Yeah, it does. And I think India need to win at least 2-1. We need to win and draw to qualify for the World Test Championship final against New Zealand, and England have to win the next two to win 3-1 to get to the final. So so quite a lot is at stake for these last two Test matches, and I'm really looking forward to the day-night Test match, which starts sometime next week. I believe it starts next week on Wednesday. It starts on Wednesday, and it's a day-night Test, so it's going to be a good timing for English viewers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it will be. It will be.
Yeah,
We've actually got some questions on the day-nighter if you want to answer them now. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we talked about day-nighter, and Usher's asked here, should Anderson bowl with Broad against India in the third test, considering it's a day-nighter with the pink ball, I guess, is what he's alluding to. What are your thoughts, Venu?
Yes, why not? I think England, a lot at stake. I think they need to bounce back after such. They got absolutely beat. They got knocked out in the third round. They need to bounce back. So I think they should play their strongest team, and I think that does include Anderson along with Broad. Although Ollie Stone did bowl well in the second Test match, and obviously Mo Ali's gone back home. We'll touch upon that in a moment, but yeah, I think yes. What do you think, Fizan?
Yeah, I think it would be a wise decision to play them both. Although to play them both is interesting because both of them are not going to bowl long spells, and really you're picking them based on it being a pink ball and really having a really major effect under the lights, right? Especially someone like Jimmy Anderson. We know that he'll still be effective outside of that, but he won't be as effective, let's be honest. And potentially it could be a flatter deck at Ahmedabad, apart from obviously that short burst with a new ball under the lights. So they might go with someone like Chris Wokes or Ollie Stone. Chris Wokes will give you more batting, and with the pink ball under lights, he'll also do quite a bit. And I think he's quite underrated, and maybe they'll look to him to show up the batting even more, because I think, unfortunately, if you go with Anderson, Broad, Archer, and Leach, for example, and maybe you don't play two spinners, you just play one, that tail looks pretty weak. It looks very weak, actually. So it'll be interesting to see the balance of the team. I think a lot also rides on Ben Stokes, how much he's going to bowl. He didn't bowl very much at all in that second Test match. He's going to have to bowl more in this one, I'm assuming, anyway. So if they trust him to bowl a lot of overs, or a fair amount anyway, then maybe they don't go with so many seam options, but we'll see. I think they just got to go for broke, I think, don't they, really? And I would pick Anderson and Broad and just say, look, you know what, pick both of them. It's just difficult because then you've got Archer, and you don't want Archer bowling long spells as well.
Yeah.
So then you kind of need Stokes to pick up some of the slack. So it's just whether they trust him enough, which they should, because he's a very, very solid bowler.
And he hasn't had a great series so far, has he, Stokes? Whereas his England counted by Ashwin, and an all-rounder having a fantastic series so far. So Stokes really has to step up for England to win the series. They can't just rely on Joe Root. So that Test match begins on Wednesday. So tune into that, and I'm sure we'll bring you videos on day reviews and on that. Won't we, Fizan? Is that the plan for next week?
Yeah, that should be the plan. It starts on Wednesday, did you say? Yeah, we can do that. We'll do some day reviews, maybe a live at the end of the day. Although when will the day finish? So if it's starting at, when is it? It's 8:39, I think, isn't it? It's starting. So potentially it'll end.
Yeah.
Will it end?
Work, isn't it? That's not doable, is it? Although if it goes to 4 days, then Saturday, you can always do one on Saturday, a live stream.
Oh no, as in when I say a live stream, I mean like a half an hour review.
I see. Day. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I might live stream some of the match if I'm if I'm free, like depending on work, really. It's just,
Okay, fair enough.
but yeah, we'll see.
So so that test match begins on Wednesday, and as Fazan just said, it's a day-nighter, so that will be interesting to see how the ball behaves, the pink ball, especially under the lights. And let's talk about the kind of a story that's come up after England-India test match. I think Fazan has talked about it before, that England head coach Chris Silverwood has apologised, along with Joe Root, for the miscommunication surrounding the decision to send Moeen Ali, England's spinner and all-rounder, home after the second test match against India. This came about after Joe Root, I think everyone can say it was a poor choice of words when he said in a press conference Mo Ali had chosen to go home, when in fact he was given a break. It was set before the test match, even before the series, even, that he would go after the third and fourth tests. Whereas and that, as a result, on social media, Moeen Ali got a lot of stick because it seemed that he chose to go home, and that, and I think it didn't help the England management going after him, ask him after that second test match and say, Mo, do you mind changing your decision? Do you mind staying on? And I think, that's poor management. You shouldn't really put, so his choice has been made. He shouldn't have to change his mind. I just think that was just really, really poor management. And his situation is no different from the likes of Joss Butler, Sam Curran, and Johnny Bairstow. And they're also being rested due to England thinking that the best way forward, especially for the multi-format players like Moeen Ali, to rest, especially, they've got such a massive schedule of cricket in all three formats. So I just think it was just quite poor man management, really, and quite slack, really. That's what I would say.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's poor man management, and just I've had so many debates about this with so many different people, and a lot of people on Instagram, Facebook, and commenting on stuff saying, "Oh, he's weak-minded. He's played one test match. Why is he going home? Or what a cow? Blah 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 blah." Look, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? Until an article comes out like this from the BBC or ESPN, whatever, and Chris Silverwood comes out, Joe Root, they both come out, they apologise, and they say, well, actually, we were wrong, and it's not up for debate. It's just a fact now. So I just, a bit smugly sent those articles to people and then didn't hear from them again, which is quite funny. I wonder why. But I think, look, if we just look at it, I don't want to touch upon it too long, but whether... has he been mistreated? Yes. Has he been mismanaged? Yes. I'm hoping it's nothing to do with anything external. I'm just hoping it's a mistake that's been made. I think Joe Root does get on quite well with Moeen Ali. I think they do have a decent relationship, from what I know anyway, from what is being said. Chris Silverwood, I have no idea. I have no idea about the bloke. I don't know what he's like, so who knows? But yeah, as you said, like Butler's had a similar thing. Mark Wood has a similar thing. Archer had a similar thing. Sam Curran has a similar thing. They've all missed parts of tours. And to be honest, that's because of IPL. They're arrested, and that's fine. Look, that's England's prerogative, and they're happy for players to play the IPL for IPL and then miss some games from England duty, which that could be a whole nother video that we could do on it. But I don't personally agree with it. But if the players have been given that choice, then obviously that's up to them if they want to take it. And like I said, right to do. Similarly, Moeen Ali obviously was supposed to play the whole Sri Lanka tour. He probably would have been picked. He probably would have played the first two India test matches. If he'd played 4 test matches, I'm hoping that this wouldn't have come up and people would have just been more open to the fact, okay, actually, yeah, he needs to go home. But then it makes me think that actually if he'd carried on playing well, they might have thought, actually, do we want to? But it's probably the fact that Best played badly, then Moeen played well, and they thought, actually, yeah, we really want you. And it's unfair, as you said, Venu, because with everyone else, and it might be to do with the fact that they've got maybe more depth in other areas, but that doesn't matter. That's not Moeen's fault. Like, he doesn't pick the team. He doesn't, he's not a spin coach. Like, he's obviously come to the team. He got COVID. That happens. And he's still been away from his family for a very long time. So, yeah, it was, as you said, it was already arranged beforehand. And no one has said to any of the other players, oh, why are you going home? Or even ask them to stay, because they know it's wrong. Because mentally, like they struggle with it in the bubble. I mean, Moeen got COVID as well, right? So he's probably like that's bad, and also like he stayed away from his family just as long as everyone else. So it almost seems it comes across as your time or is not as important as everyone else's like decisions. Like if they want to go home, that's more important. But if you want to go home, that's like sorry, it's not as important. And so they rightly come out and apologized, and I'm sure it won't happen again. But yeah, it just didn't sit well with me. There was definitely a sour taste in my mouth after hearing it, and it was just, as you said, Venu, poor mismanagement. And look, I mean, it's not like he's not going to come back. He's going to be back in 10 days, or well, it'll be less than now, but yeah, 10 days he's going to be gone and he's coming back. And I should ask here about the Moeen Ali. Would he come back for the limited overs? And he is. That's the whole point. Like from what I know, he's coming back anyway, and it's part of the rotation policy. So yeah, like people shouldn't be moaning about it, and they shouldn't have asked him because it put him in a difficult position. And either way, he loses. And there was that really good article you sent to me, Venu, from Crick Info, which someone wrote saying that look, if he said no, like no, I don't want to stay, then he loses out because then everyone thinks, oh my god, why is he not? Like he's played so well, why is he not staying? And then if he said yes, then he loses out anyway because then he can't go home to see his family. So either way, it was like a lose-lose situation, which is not fair to put someone in that position. But yeah,
and to add to that, Fizan, if he did say yes and he missed out seeing his family, obviously it will mean so much to him and obviously to any. And he's quite a young father, as he's got a young family as well. Later on in the line, that could affect him mentally, physically. There will be consequences for that. But yeah, I just think it was just really bad man management from England. And to be honest, probably not the first time Moeen Ali has been badly handled by management. We could do a separate video on that, to be honest. But yes, the fact that his situation is no different from Joss Buttler, Sam Curran, Johnny Bairstow, and no one even batted an eyelid to hear that they were being rested. And when Moeen Ali and obviously people made their opinions on him, and they really didn't have any right to really. And
the thing is, as well, the worst thing is it's not even like fans. It's just like this. It's not like it's just this ultras, like this small, like a small group of ultras. But obviously, like because he's because he's not the typical English player. I'm just going to say that's why they're doing it. And okay, fine, you always get idiots like that. It's not even just that. It's ex-players. It's the management managed it poorly, as you said, Venu. Ex-players, like pundits, like there's lots of people were saying it. And you're right, like no one batted an eyelid. So it just isn't it convenient that as soon as he plays, he's under a microscope, and it just seems that every time he comes out for England, he is, and it's not fair because other players aren't put under that same pressure and under the same microscope, and then people wonder why he left the Test game. The worst thing that I've heard, Venu, as well, is that someone said, "Oh, he shouldn't have left playing Test cricket to focus on the white ball game." He never left Test cricket to focus on the white ball game. He left Test cricket because he was being mistreated by the media, and also he felt like he wasn't enjoying it, and the scrutiny he was being put under and the criticism, he just thought it wasn't worth it, and he mentally couldn't cope at that time, and he even said it as well.
Yeah, no, that was quite sad that he had to do that, and I do think England, the ECB have managed him. I think they could have managed him better. But that's another video we can do once Moeen retires and whenever he does. Hopefully, he's got another few more long years of playing good cricket. That's for sure for England and his other teams that he plays for. Now, another player that's been rested due to England's rotation policy, Sam Curran, England all-rounder, has been ruled out the fourth and final test against India in Ahmedabad because there's his logistical challenges of travelling alone in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the fact that he would have travelled from England to Ahmedabad, but as a single passenger and on commercial flights, more than one commercial flights, it would have been too risk and would have risked his exposure to COVID. And he don't want that to spread around England camp and could put the tour into jeopardy. So he's going to travel with the one-day team, I guess along with the likes of Owen Morgan, etc. on the chartered flight, so the risk of exposure to the virus is limited. Yeah, which is a shame, really, because I'm looking forward to Sam Curran develop as a Test cricketer, but
he wouldn't have played anyway, to be honest.
Wouldn't have played.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough. So Fizan just basically said, "Venu, move on. I've had enough." All right, let's move on then. So, so the fourth talking points. There's a New Zealand Australia T20 international. The first T20 international starts tomorrow at Christchurch. This is going to be a good matchup. I'm looking forward to watching this tomorrow morning. Although I've got to work. Oh well, maybe not. Maybe the highlights then. But yeah, looking at some quality players playing some quality cricket, and hopefully Jameson gets a crack at international T20 cricket, because he is a talent, and he got quite good money in the IPL auction, which we'll talk about later on. So I'm looking forward to this T20 series.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? And he will get a crack. He played some T20s against Pakistan and against West Indies. He didn't actually perform that well, to be honest with you. But he's still very new to the T20 arena and game. So I was surprised about the IPL stuff, but we'll talk about it later. But yeah, I think in general, he's a fantastic talent, isn't he? And he's really hit the ground running in a Test game. And let's see whether he can replicate some of that form in a T20 arena as well. But yeah, impressive stuff. And I'm really looking forward to the series. I think there's a few big omissions from the Australian side. I don't think there's any Steve Smith. I think no Marnus Labuschagne as well. I guess they're resting them. It's good in a way, because I understand like they need to be rested and rotated. And we'll get on to, I guess, when we talk about the IPL, but it still doesn't sit right with me that players play a whole franchise. Even the PSL, for example, I'd rather they didn't play. I love like the PSL, but for like we'll go on to it. But there's some players missing games for the PSL because they're playing international duty, and that's kind of how it should be, I think, personally, anyway.
Yeah, I just honestly, because I think there's too much cricket going on. I think that we could do another video. There's just too much. Just, I don't know. There's too much formats. Too many. They want T10 cricket now, and Olympic Games potentially. There's all these franchise tournaments that players want to play in. It's another video we need to do, but I just think there's too much cricket going on, and and talk about franchise cricket. Let's move on to the Pakistani Super League, the PSL, which started the other day, and let's talk about the first match that happened yesterday. So the Karachi Kings started their title defense for a record win. So they started their defense in style with a record 7-wicket win over the Qatar Gladiators, and they needed to chase an under par 122, and the Kings got there thanks to a 23 ball 46 from Joe Clarke to win with 6.1 overs to spare, their biggest victory in terms of balls left. So that was a bit of a demolition job by Karachi Kings, and they're looking to continue their good form from winning the last PSL. Now,
Joe Clarke was quality, wasn't he?
Yeah, it looks good. You were saying that one of the interview people, players interview say he was a quality player, Joe Clarke.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, which I'm pretty sure most people in England should have seen him, he's only 24, but he's played for Nottinghamshire since I think he was like 18. So we've definitely seen him live, because we've seen Notts play against Middlesex as well. So he's definitely played. He's a top talent. Obviously, he's had some off-field stuff, which I'm not going to go into because I'm not too well read on it. But obviously, it's a bit controversial. I think he's been cleared. Obviously, I don't think he'd be playing cricket from the thing that he was alleged to have done. But anyway, and Daniel Bell-Drummond who I interviewed. He's a Kent opener. He's played England Lions. He's pushing for England as well. Obviously, opens the batting with Zach Crawley, and he's captained them in the T20 Blast, etc. as well. So, fantastic player, Daniel Bell-Drummond. He basically just said to me, look, I asked him in the interview, and I said, look, who's the most talented player you've played with or against? And he said, look, I could have easily gone with someone like Andre Russell, someone like that, Angela Matthews, who are fantastic. But he just said, I think Joe Clarke is so talented that his talent warrants playing for England. Like he could easily walk into that side. He said, I know how competitive, and especially their white ball side is, but he said, I think he's got all the ingredients to play for England. And I think Dominic Cork said it yesterday as well, that like he's England star in the making. So we'll see. But he's not just someone who hits the ball long and can hit sixes. There's a bit of class to him as well, and he seems to be able to play different ways. So let's see. But that was a fantastic knock, and he really helped the reigning champions there for sure.
Yeah, definitely a player to watch out this tournament, Joe Clarke. So remember the name, everyone watching. And the second match, so 3D, and that's not Shahid Afridi, but Shaheen Afridi, and Rashid Khan, not Adil Rashid Khan, starred in Colombia's victorious start to their PSL 6 campaign. So disciplined football performance with all Colanders. Registered a 4-wicket win against Peshawar. I was going to say Peshawari, but it's Peshawar Zalmi in their first Super League account on today. So Shaheen Afridi and debutant Salman Mirza picked up 5 wickets between them to keep Zalmi in check, and they only posted 140 for 6, despite Ravi Bopara's, the veteran, Ravi Bopara's 50. But Rashid Khan, who started with the ball and also started the bat, and the experienced Mohammad Hafiz came up with an important contribution as well, helped Colanders overcome some jitters during their run chase to chase down 140. So it's quite a convincing win for Colanders, wasn't it, Fizan? And I'll be supporting the Her Colanders because I've been there, Fizan, haven't I, for your wedding? So
yeah,
they're my team to support.
And Venu's been to the home stadium, Gaddafi Stadium as well.
I've touched it.
Yeah.
I would love to go see a cricket match, especially a test match there. That's on my bucket list, that's for sure.
Well, cricket's back in Pakistan, so yeah for sure. And it's funny, I was speaking to someone from Pakistan who did a collaboration, and there's a smart from a smart piece, and he said that whole generation, like he reminded me that whole generation in Pakistan have missed Pakistan playing at home.
Yeah, how many years it's been? Since 2007 or something? Ridiculous.
Yeah, so 14 years or longer. So think about that. That's a whole generation, right? So anyone who was born the last 14 years, or even if they were a kid and they grew up and they just haven't seen Pakistan yet at home, they wouldn't have seen them. How sad is that? I've seen Pakistan more than he has, because I saw them here in the UK in the World Cup, the Champions Trophy. He's never seen them live, just because he can't. It's just sad. But anyway, back onto the PSL though. Yeah,
you're gonna trigger me, Fazan.
Huh?
Gonna trigger me.
I know you're gonna be crying next. But yeah, Lahore Qalandars are my team as well to watch and my team to that I'm supporting anyway. And Rashid Khan's helicopter shot was fantastic, wasn't it? You showed me. I think it was Cash actually put it on the group. Fantastic shot. But talking of players that are going to leave, so I think he's only playing 2 matches, the first 2.
Yeah,
because then he's Afghanistan have got a series. I think it's against the UAE. I think
Zimbabwe.
So Zimbabwe, sorry, yeah. So that's what I mean, right? Fair play to him, and yeah, it's disappointing because I'd love to see him in the PSL, but international duty, right? And he probably, I'm 100% sure he doesn't get paid that much to play for Afghanistan. So fair play to him, and go on.
So Mujibur Rahman and Mohammad Nabi will also lead the PSL as well, ahead of their first test match against Zimbabwe on March the 2nd. It's happening in the UAE.
Test match cricket. That I tell you what, even though it might not be the highest level, it'll be a competitive test match, I think.
You'll be good. I'll be tuning into that if it's shown on TV. I hope so.
Probably not, but unfortunately.
It's a shame, that the shame is that probably won't be shown, but that he's missing. Rashid Khan won't be in the PSL. And he was actually he was a platinum player for Lahore Qalandars, so isn't that money wasted?
Well, I think potentially it might be a case of I guess they don't pay him the full amount potentially because he's not playing the full tournament. I'd assume anyway. I don't know the ins and outs obviously, but I'm assuming. So that's why I was saying fair play to him. And similarly with the IPL as well, which we'll go on to in a bit. But yeah, and actually talking of the PSL, Multan Sultans are playing against Islamabad as we speak, which is why I'm trying to update the banner at the bottom. So Multan posted 150 for 8, and Islamabad are now 55 for 2. Alex Hale's still in, 29 off 19 for him. So he's looking pretty good and trying to stake a claim for England. Interesting to see how he does in this tournament. Because he did an interview with Nasser saying to Rob Keane, he's He's looking to push back into it, isn't he? And talking of that, I should ask, should Alex Hales be allowed back in the England squad? And then he's putting his finger up, which means someone's out, which is Alex Hales has just been bowled by, I said he'd bowl well, Shahid Afridi has cleaned him up, 29 of 20. That's still a decent, yeah, but he's doing the Afridi plays. But that's still a decent, knock though, 29 of 20 to open up. But yeah, he'll be disappointed. But talking of Alex Hales, he just got out for 29. But Usher's asking, should Alex Hales be allowed back in the England squad?
Yeah, 100%. All I'm going to say is Warner and Smith are currently back playing international cricket, and Hales isn't. Just leave it there.
Is there? Actually, I was going to say, is there an argument to say has he been mistreated more than Moeen Ali? But I think probably not, because he hasn't helped himself. I think, but I do think he's been mismanaged as well, though.
Oh yeah, 100% mismanaged.
Not as much as Moeen Ali, but I think like in terms of the fact that obviously he made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Ben Stokes made a mistake.
Oh
right. So that's what I mean. So I think it's just a bit selective. And look, I understand he made a mistake, and I can completely understand, like why they wanted to leave him out. He said he sent Morgan a message about a year ago, and I don't. From what it sounded like, I don't think he got a reply, and he just said, "Oh, it was probably a bit raw." So I think he's going to send a message after this PSL. He's obviously got a point to prove. I'm sure he will get some runs. He had a good big bash as well, I know. So I think he should be in the squad. There's back-to-back T20 World Cups, so there's no excuse not to have him in there. Especially like if someone like Jason Roy's not playing well, then like why not put sorry?
If one of them get injured.
Yeah, and also like you need that squad depth and pressure on the opening pair. Even if you're not looking to start him, he needs to be in there so that you can say, okay, look, your spot is not guaranteed. And we know how good their white ball side is, so they need to have that. And he would be a good addition, I personally think, anyway. And Venu, before we move on from the PSL, I should ask thoughts on PSL. So, what are your thoughts?
I'm enjoying it. I'm really getting into it. I like, like the commentary. I just like it really. And there's not as many gimmicks as the Big Bash League had, but it seems like a good solid franchise league. Who would have thought a year ago I'd be watching all these franchise leagues and really getting into it? And I'm enjoying it so far. Lahore Qalandars all the way. Yeah,
there's some good young talent on display, which is nice. And you know what? Actually, what I really love is, did you hear Dominic Cork earlier today? He was singing like Pakistan anthems. He was singing like Dil Dil Pakistan. He's going Pakistan's in the bar, and like he actually loves he's covered it for the last couple of years, I think. And he absolutely loves it. And it's so funny, right? Because obviously he's from the UK and you don't expect, but he just really embraced it and he loves it. And he's a very good commentator, actually. He's definitely grown on me, the way that he's embraced the culture. And a lot of commentators seem to have done that. So, it seems to be good. So, fingers crossed it carries on to be a good tournament. But so far, so good, I think.
I'm looking forward to it. It's keeping me sane during a lockdown, that's for sure. And Fazan will probably say the same thing as well. So So I'm glad that we're both glad that Lahore Qalandars have started off with a victory, and Ashtad is supporting Islamabad, isn't he? And we'll see if they're going to win this match. We'll see. Now, next franchise league, which is probably a lot bigger than the PSL at the moment, but I'm sure the PSL will catch up, give it another couple of years. I'm sure it'll be big as this franchise league. And this franchise league that we're all talking about is the IPL. So where do we start for the IPL? Shall we start with the auction first? The start of the auction. Any surprises with the auction? There is one I want to say. The headline auction. Chris Morris, the South African, became the most expensive signing in IPL history on Thursday when with Rajasthan Royals. They forked up Fizan 16.25 crores. I don't know. Crore. 16.25. I don't know what that's equivalent in English money. But
it's a ridiculous amount still.
It's a ridiculous amount. And that surpassed Yuvraj Singh's in 2015, 16 crore. So that was the previous record. But 16.25 is on. For Chris Morris, I guess he's an all rounder. But considering Rajasthan Royals already have Ben Stokes in their ranks, interesting. I'd say. What do you think of that, Fazan?
Bizarre, to be honest with you, is what I think. I think it's bizarre.
And I'm Kuma Sangakkara is like the team principal, isn't he? So what are you on about, Sangakkara?
Okay, so it is. Oh no, it's not in euros. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I can figure it out for you. Okay, so it's 1.6 million pounds.
That's getting silly money. 1.6 million for a player.
Okay, so what I'd say is, and you know this because I don't watch the IPL, and I'll be honest, I don't watch it, and it's not because the cricket. I'm sure the cricket is pretty good, but just for my own personal reasons, and I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, I don't watch it. Is the whole political whatever stuff going on? But anyway, for my own kind of morality, let's say, I'll stick to it. But in terms of keeping tabs on it, I do keep tabs on it. And like it's all over my feed, right, when the IPL auction was happening, so you can't get away from it. And the Chris Morris thing was bizarre. I think I saw Gautam Gambhir, like there was a meme saying that Gautam Gambhir said, "Why would you pay a record amount for him? Because like he hasn't played any international cricket for quite some time, and how fresh is he going to be?" I know he's now playing the domestic T20 stuff in South Africa because I've been keeping some tabs on that. But yeah, I mean, Ben Stokes, in my opinion, is a much better all-rounder than Chris Morris. So I don't know. I'm assuming they'll play both, but apparently he had quite a good IPL last year. I don't know. Again, I didn't watch it, but apparently from what I've heard, he has. I don't know why they paid that much for him. And they released Steve Smith and they got him for that much money. Just seems bizarre to me. But I don't know. I mean, it's funny because Cash was saying this in the group, and I agree. I think a lot of it is kind of around hype, and obviously there's a lot of people pay over the odds for someone that they think is going to fit in perfectly into the dynamics and the balance of a side or a squad. I mean, even Carl Jameson, I know that there's a lot of hype around him, which is why he went for so much. He went for like a top 5 amount ever, and like
15, he got Karor.
Yeah, and don't RCB have like 15 all-rounders and only 4 out-and-out batsmen? So that was a bizarre one.
They got Glenn Maxwell as well, or RCB, for 14.25.
They've got a crazy amount of all-rounders. I think they've only got like De Villiers, Kohli, and 2 other batsmen. So that out-and-out batsman, that is. And they've got a lot of all-rounders, which is fine. All-rounders are good, but I don't know. I mean, I just think it all seems very strange to me. I'm not an expert on the topic, but would I have paid that much for Carl Jameson rather than someone else? Probably not. I think Carl Jameson is a very good player, but he's not tried and tested in the T20. And considering that's a lot of pressure to have on you, they're going to expect him to like perform incredibly well. So interesting to see how he does. Same with Chris Morris and who else? I think someone like Dawid Malan went for like nothing. He went for his base amount, and so did I think Steve Smith went for near his base amount as well. So that was really surprising. And who was it? There's another English player that went for more than Dawid Malan. It was an England player, I think. He went for a lot.
Moeen Ali got 7.
Oh yeah, Moeen Ali went for 7, and I love Moeen Ali. I love him. I genuinely do love him, but I don't think he's worth more than Dawid Malan because I don't think. To be honest with you, 99% of the players are not worth more than Dawid Malan because Dawid Malan is a number 1 T20 batsman. The only thing I would say is I guess you have to take into account conditions. I don't know how good Dawid Malan's record in the subcontinent is, whereas Moeen Ali's proven maybe that he's good in those conditions at times. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think it's crazy. It's crazy, but people just pick players and pay over the odds to whatever they think is going to fit their side. But yeah, well, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really so clued up on the IPL, so I guess more, people that follow it a lot more will know kind of dynamics of the team and kind of like the Premier League in football. Like you kind of know, oh yeah, we need a centre back or we need a striker or centre back.
And sometimes they'll pay over the odds, won't they?
Yeah. So that's why you kind of realise actually that's why we need a Chris Morris type player to fill this type of hole in our team, or we want to play this type of cricket, and Chris Morris is a perfect fit. So I'm not too sure on that, but I'm sure it's going to be a good watch whenever that happens. Maybe I think it starts in April, I believe, April, June. And I just want to say a few more things on the IPL before we move on. So Mark Wood, so the English fast bowler, has said no to life-changing money. Like, it's a lot of money. This is, if you've got an IPL contract, you're raking it in, right? You're raking it in, And he's pulled out the 2021 IPL auction just in the hours leading up to it, and left only 16 players in that auction. And the reason why he's pulled out is so that he can focus some time with his family and England, which I think's a brave and quite a, what's the word, Fazan?
Patriotic and noble thing to do.
It's a noble thing to do. So fair play, Mark Wood. And
when I saw that, my estimation on Mark Wood went from about here to like here.
Oh yeah. Oh, my Mark Wood estimation is already high.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's already pretty high. He seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah,
and then next, and to be honest with you, like, I'm not really honest on this, and again, like, I'm not saying this because I don't watch the IPL, because I said this about the PSL with Rashid Khan. Like, I said exactly the same thing. I understand it's life-changing money. I completely understand it. I really do. But why do you have to play the whole tournament? There's like so many players are playing pot tournaments in the franchises anyway, so you'll still get like life-changing money. There'll still be a fair amount. Like, but the problem is Mark Wood's probably thinking, I don't want to go there, which is fair enough. But some players, if they're worried about the money aspect, like, yeah, fine, you might get half, you might get 3/4 of what you could get, but then you're still able to go and help your country out. Is that more important? Probably.
Also, yeah, I agree. And he's also spending time with his family, and you can't really put a price.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I think he's got young children as well. So
he does, yeah, I think. Yeah.
So it just shows that, I think it's quite a noble move from Mark Wood.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree, VENU, 100%. And it's an interesting one because, South Africa, they asked Graham Smith, I saw an interview, and they said, oh, you're going to allow your players to go and play IPL because it clashes with one of the tours that you're organising. And he said, I think it's actually the Pakistan tour of South Africa in April. Mm-hmm. He said, are you going to allow your players to go to IPL? Because he said, because they said, you look, obviously because the tour, Australia's tour got cancelled, which again, we can go into that another time because that's pretty controversial. And also they said, look, you guys are not playing that much cricket, and surely you want your guys to be playing, test match cricket over IPL. He said, "Oh yeah, we'll have to." I could kind of see him in his head, grating his teeth almost. Like, you know what? I really want to say that actually we're not going to let them go. But he said, "Oh, we've always had this predetermined window with IPL." But he said, obviously things have changed, so we'll discuss with management to see what the squads are, and then we'll make our decision there. But basically, like, they're going to let them go, I'd imagine. And I just think it's a bit. I feel like they've been handicapped a little bit, like all these countries, and as you said, the money is crazy, and that's why they've been handicapped. The thing is, in other franchises, the money is maybe not as big yet, or may never get as big. But because the money's so huge in the IPL at the moment, that is handicapping some countries, which is a bit unfair, I think, to a degree.
Yeah, and to add to that, another series I'm really looking forward to is the New Zealand tour of England. Potentially, the two, they could both make the finals of the Test Championship as things. They still have potential to do that. And at the moment, it looks likely that many of New Zealand's high-profile cricketers, including Williamson, Trent Boult, Kyle Jamieson, Lockie Ferguson, are likely to stay with IPL franchises because the New Zealand cricket policy at the moment is to give the national cricketers a free rein to play in the IPL. And the two tests at Lords and Edgeworth start on June the 2nd was a late addition. However, there is time for them to play the World Chess Championship final, which they've qualified for. But it will be. I'd rather see Williams.
That's a shocker. That's an absolute shocker.
Anderson. That's what I want to see.
But isn't that a shocker though? Isn't that a shocker? Like I understand, okay, it's been added late, but and I'm not being funny. Like it sounds so bad, but these guys, like, you know what? The West Indies, I can understand. Bangladesh, I can even understand. Pakistan, I can probably understand because I kind of know the amount that these guys get paid. I don't know how much the New Zealand players get paid, to be fair, so I could be wrong. But England, Australia, India, these guys get paid a lot. They get paid quite a lot. And yeah, it's nowhere near as much as IPL. So I understand. Look, I don't mind them going to play it. Like I have no issue. But why can't you go and play the IPL? And then, okay, you've got international duty. Then you leave. Rashid Khan's doing it. You think he gets paid much playing for Afghanistan? You got to be bloody kidding me. He gets paid probably peanuts. But it doesn't matter because like he knows that like representing my country, and he is a role model and an influence in that country for cricket, that he realizes the importance of it. So I just think, you know what, like it kind of just, I'm hoping that they'll do the right thing. As you said, there's still time. Let's hope that they say, you know what, actually, we're going to leave at this time so we can go to England, quarantine, blah, blah, blah. I don't know though, VENU. I think it's getting to a point where I really don't want us to get to a stage where franchise cricket is prioritized over international cricket, and it seems like we're getting there. And it would really upset me. It really would.
Yeah, it will upset me too. And if that ever happens, I'll stop watching cricket. Honestly, I will.
That is a brave call. I'm gonna hold you to that. VENU, okay, guys.
I just said the wrong thing.
VENU just said if franchise cricket is prioritized over international cricket.
Well, it is at the moment, isn't it?
No, but like widely, as in like all franchises. Like say franchise cricket is seen as more important than international cricket, which I don't think it is at the moment. Because, for example, a player wouldn't not play the World Cup because of the IPL, or he wouldn't play do you know what I mean, the World T20 over the IPL, and would just play franchises. VENU just said if that's the case, then he will stop watching cricket. And Asha says, me too. I won't stop watching cricket though. Yeah, exactly. I think I don't know, man. You know what, VENU? I'm not going to say it because that's a very sweeping statement, but I probably am inclined to agree with you. But I'm not going to say it. I could do it because I think it would really upset me. But I think comes to what I said earlier. There's too much cricket on. But you know what the issue then is, VENU? But and we can talk about this now actually, because we've got time. You say that, right? There's too much cricket on, but do you not think that maybe it's a case of there's so much cricket on that maybe enough people are able to play, and get paid? So is that not a good thing? I'm in two minds because I agree with you. I think there's probably too much cricket on. And so player schedules are crazy. That's why England have got this rotation policy. That, to be honest, they're rotating it because of franchises and stuff as well. Do you think it's good though in a way, because some of these players that maybe we haven't heard of before, we're not that familiar with, you become familiar with them and they actually get a chance and they get paid money which maybe they couldn't have gotten playing domestically. I don't know. I'm kind of in two minds. What's your thoughts?
It's difficult, isn't it? I'm not too sure on that. I just think there has to be a scenario where a player can play the IPL and can play international cricket. Like you see in football, you don't have the Champions League final clashing with international duty, do you? It's just stupid. With cricket, it's just getting silly. There's too much cricket on, too much franchise leagues. Maybe they should merge all the leagues together and have some sort of super league.
They had that. Do you not remember? So they had the Champions League. It was called the Champions League, I think.
Did they?
So yes, it was the winner. It was like the top. Oh fuck! What was it? Ashwin, if you're watching, tell me. I think it was the Champions League, of cricket basically, and they had the winners of like the IPL, the PSL, the CFL, TPL, but they stopped doing it. I think it was like it ran for like 1 year, and they just stopped doing it. But that would be good. But then the issue with that VENU is that if you do that, then you still run all the other franchises just into a tournament. So maybe what you're saying is a good idea, but logistically, would it work with obviously people playing in different countries? Do they do it in a neutral location?
Yeah.
But the issue with that is as well,
for a couple of months.
A lot of players play for multiple franchises.
Or just cut down.
So who are they going to pick?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but it's a suggestion. But I just
No,
think
it's interesting. It's good to just talk about. Obviously, we don't know the answer, but it is interesting, isn't it, to spitball kind of ideas for it? Because I do agree with you. I think it's a very difficult, delicate situation, but there's lots of stuff going on about it. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. When I have kids and get them into cricket, like how cricket would be different for them as it was for me when I was their age. So it's gonna be completely different, isn't it? In whenever that happens, but
Maybe
yeah.
they'll be watching the 100.
You know what I'm gonna hate? I'll probably have to take them to the 100 match, and I'll be like, I don't want to be here.
You're gonna be like those old guys who we hate at the cricket, who are just moaning the whole time. And the issue is that's gonna be us. That's actually gonna be us. We're gonna be taking our kids, and we're gonna. You know what's gonna happen? We're gonna be talking, and then we're gonna see kids who are like looking at us like, why are they moaning and having like being grumpy and so moody? And then they'll switch, and then both of us will be thinking to ourselves, we'll flash back to where we're sitting at the Oval watching a one-day match or even a T20, and the old geezers behind us are going, "This isn't proper cricket," and we're like, "Oh, shut up!" And that's going to be us.
Yeah, it will be us.
It's
Yeah,
going to be our deja vu.
Yeah,
I really hope it's not, but it probably will be. Let's be honest.
Yeah, give it a few years. Yeah, so that's the IPL wrapped up. That took longer than I anticipated, to be honest. But that's the IPL for you.
Okay,
right?
It wasn't just the IPL; it was just a franchise.
Oh yeah, true. Franchise. Now another series I'm looking forward to is the New Zealand women against England women that kicks off in a couple of days' time in Christchurch as well, and it's the first ODI. I think that's ramping up to the World Cup, Women's World Cup, and Brooke Halliday, Fran Jonas, what a name, are set for debuts for New Zealand in the England series, and it's starting from February the 23rd. And I'm really looking forward to the series. Hopefully it's on the. Hopefully it's I think it's being shown on BT, so that's the series I'll be watching. So good to see women's cricket back on TV and seeing some good quality matches.
I look forward to you doing reviews on it as well. It should be good.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Why are you throwing me in it, mate? What's wrong with you?
I'm just committing Manny to cricket, which he's never committed to.
No, I've got other things to do. Right. All right. Okay. So yeah. And to add to that, some piece of good news coming from Sri Lanka is that Chaminda Vas, the great Chaminda Vas, has been appointed Sri Lanka's fast bowling coach for the West Indies tour. That's after David Saker has resigned due to personal reasons. And Vas previously coached Sri Lanka in 3 occasions, 2013, 2015, and 2017. And he's also held coaching roles with Ireland and New Zealand. And Vas is Sri Lanka's most successful fast bowler with 355 Test wickets and 400 ODL wickets. Probably one of my all-time favourite bowlers. And
who
knows?
He skipped a cycle. He skipped a cycle because he coached them, you said, in 2013, 2015, 2017, and now 2021. So he missed 2019. What's going on there? What's going on there? Where's the consistency? Like his line and length?
Exactly. No, but not very consistent. But to be honest, I'm hoping Chaminda Vas can actually put on his Sri Lanka shirts and start playing.
Right? That's not happening. That's
Why
not happening.
He'll be better than those Sri Lankan.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say, like, oh, I can't wait for him to really improve Sri Lankan cricket.
Oh yeah, that is
and instead you're like, I can't wait for him to put on a Sri Lanka shirt. To be honest, though, the thing that kind of worries me a little bit is that he's coached them in 2013, 2015, 2017. Obviously not 2019, but he's had 3 stints. And no, I know because of money venue, but as in, not that he's gone to and fro, but did he really make a difference when he was bowling coach then? And I don't really know because I don't know the ins and outs. I can't say I'm an expert and I drill down into Sri Lankan cricket so heavily. Like, yeah, I have pretty good knowledge of it, but like the fast bowlers that have been produced have not been particularly good until maybe recently, where it looks like they've got a bit of talent. But then he wasn't the coach then. So
David Saker's gone for personal reasons. Could be political. We have no idea, mate. I have no idea. So
absolute carnage, mate. Seriously, cricket is crazy. I feel like it's just in sport. Behind the scenes, there's so much politics going on. It's just sort it out, man. Come on, what's just happened?
In PSL, there's been 2 wickets in 2 balls. So
Mate, there's been 3 in 1 to 6 balls. Bloody hell!
Zealand United need 77 in 53 balls, and they're 4 wickets remaining. But Lewis Gregory's still in, so you never know. But they need required run rate 8.71. Looks like Moulton Sultans. What a name, Moulton Sultan. That's my favourite name for a franchise.
If we finish this before it ends, I think I'm going to have to jump on a live stream for the end of it.
All right, let's hurry up then. So, okay, so so that's that. So another piece of news: Faf du Plessis has retired from Test cricket. He said making T20 cricket is a priority in the short term. Another player putting T20 cricket.
No,
first.
That's fine, Benny. But how many years has he played Test cricket? That's fair enough.
That's fair enough. Okay, so former South African captain has retired from Test cricket after 69 appearances. Only 69. With no Test cricket in the immediate future of South Africa, du Plessis wants to walk into a new chapter and focus his energies on T20 cricket due to back-to-back World Cups in 2021 and 2022. And he'll forever be stuck at 199 as his highest score.
That's actually peak.
So well done, Faf du Plessis, and thank you for everything you've done for South African cricket. And thanks for that 199 not out and the way you got out.
Oh, Benny, man, you're actually peak.
Why is that peak?
You're like trolling him.
Well, he's not watching, is he?
He might be. You don't know.
Okay, if you're unhappy to see, write a letter of complaint into Fazan, and he'll pass it on to me. Okay. So, however, he's focusing his time on T20 cricket, so I don't think he's going to do that, to be honest. So that's that. That's all of all the talking points. Have I missed out anything, Fazan?
No, I think that's all good, to be honest with you. I think du Plessis had a fantastic, pretty good Test career anyway. But probably because it's back-to-back T20, that's probably why he's retiring. Okay, we're doing the weekly awards, aren't we?
Yes.
That should be pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's going to be... well, let's talk about VENU's Star of the Week. Ashwin, Ravichandran Ashwin. Yeah, 8 wickets in the match and 100 runs. Showing the England boys, after all the talk from the media, and from English media especially, this wicket is unplayable. This is outrageous, this wicket. Yeah. And the number 8 comes along and smashes 100 and takes 8 wickets, showing the England boys how it's done. I've got no words to describe his performance. It was a great performance, and he deserves to be Star of the Week. Yeah,
I agree. 108 for... I mean, it's tough to disagree, really.
And he joins ranks... Not many players have done it. He sits on the second on the list of most times a player taken 5 wickets in a match and 100, and he's second behind Ian Botham, who's got 5, and Ashwin's on 3. So he's an all-rounder, that's for sure. And,
he's all-rounder, yeah.
He's kind of made me realise actually Ashwin's probably a better all-rounder than Stokes. I've said it.
That's
so yes, so that's that. So well done, Ashwin. So well done on getting that award. And to add to Man of the Match award, I believe he must have got on the second Test match. Who's the Team of the Week? India is probably
India.
Who else? Yeah. India. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the PSL. I said to you, I always favour Test cricket.
Yeah,
personally.
Who needs to do the homework? I'm thinking someone from the England team. Probably Joe Root. Making sure he says the right words in press conferences.
That's probably the fail of the week, to be fair.
That's the fail of the week. Okay, well done, Joe Root, for winning the fail of the week.
I think the person who did that homework, probably Ben Stokes, man. He's Ashwin's bunny.
Oh, that's true. Ben Stokes. I think he's... I didn't know the stats. I had it before, but... Yeah,
no, don't worry. All you need to know is that he gets out to Ashwin way too much. Let's be honest. That's what you need to know.
Yeah.
That's all everyone needs to know.
So that's Ben Stokes who needs to do the homework. And to be honest, England need him to perform for these next 2 Test matches. It can't, as I said earlier in this stream, it can't just be Joe Root performing and getting a 200 and setting up the victory for England. You need Ben Stokes to perform.
Yeah.
Team that needs to do the homework?
England, yeah.
Because they got absolutely pummeled. I think it's one of the second great. It's the biggest loss in India for a while. So yeah, it absolutely smashed.
Yeah. Poor man.
And a bit of arrogance from their part, thinking, they just couldn't play the spin really. So yeah, fail of the week was Joe Root. just basically messing up the press conference and saying Moeen Ali chose to go home.
Oh dear.
So do watch back to the earlier on this video to see our opinions on that. And who is our what's the moment of the week? The helicopter shot.
Yeah, the helicopter shot was really that's the shot of the week, mate, and that's probably the best. Yeah, and Usher says, "What complaint you want?" No, what? Says someone getting demolished. And Sarthak, thank you very much for joining. Moeen Ali was amazing in the test too. You know what? This is an Indian talking, I think, as well. You know what? Fair play to you, mate. And he says, and he goes here, his quick fire definitely got him a spot for Chennai Super Kings.
Well, that's what Mo was thinking. I'm going to smash this just so that I can get some good money in the IPL auction. No, probably not.
Sartek, you know what? It probably did help, to be fair, but yeah. No, I think though. Let's be honest, Ashwin definitely has to do it, but Moeen Ali was good as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate that comment. But I'll leave it up there.
England's best player, that's for sure.
100%, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
What fair of the week was Joe Root's. Moment of the week was that helicopter shot. Do have a look. I'm sure it's on YouTube illegally. What are we looking forward to next week, Fizal? I'm looking forward to the third Test match in Ahmedabad. I'm looking forward to watching more PSL.
Yep,
that's for sure.
Yeah, the day-night Test match. I think it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's going to play the pitch, and really also how much the pink ball will do under lights, and how effective if they do play Anderson and Broad, how effective they'll be. So let's see. I'll be interested.
Yeah, I think that's everything really.
Yeah, that is everything. For anyone who is watching, I am going to jump on a stream. Venu, if you want to join, you're more than welcome to as well. But yeah, to watching the PSL. And thank you, Venu, as well, though, for having me, as always, for putting together a fantastic episode.
No worries.
I know there wasn't as much to talk about this week, but it's probably nice for you to have a bit of a more relaxed week off from having to put it together. And get
no, it's still been hard work. It's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears going into this production.
Fair enough.
I'm not getting paid for this, just so that you know, viewers. This is slave labor, but this is what I do for cricket. Yeah, thank you for watching Venu's Cricket Catch Up, and thank you, Fizan, for being on it as always. It's been, hopefully next week there'll be a lot more cricket to talk about, and hopefully, do watch the end of that PSL match. It's going to be an interesting one. So thank you for watching, and see you next week. So bye for now.